It's virtual CES 2021 at Geekazine.com. Continuing coverage of CES 2021, I'm here with Bart of, the company is called Castodian with a G. And
with a C.
It was with a C? I thought it was with a G.
Castodian. Sorry.
Castodian. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what the company is, and then the product that you're showing off.
All right. So actually, 25 years ago, I worked in a motorcycle shop, and over the last, let's say, 20 years, I found out that too many people are driving around with motorcycle helmets that are not safe for them, but they don't know it. And it means that every year, around 400,000 people die in 400,000 PTW drivers, motorcyclists, and 75% of them die due to a head injury. And we found out that there's two reasons. One of them, like I said, the fact that they wear unsafe helmets, but they don't know it. And the other reason is that there's poor post-crash response, because many motorcyclists drive alone, get into one-sided accidents, mostly outside of cities, in corners. So they are often found too late. And we're going to change that with our solution, and it's called HDSL, which stands for Helmet Device for Saving Lives. And that's it.
Okay, that's perfect. So, you have two. You're going to show off two items here in a second that go with this. This is do you sell the helmet, or do you sell these devices?
No. What we do, because there are more than 100 quite good helmet manufacturers in the world as we speak. So we decided that we sell a device, and this is actually what it's going to be. This is what we currently work with in development, and this is the end product. And it's just going to be stuck inside of a helmet, and on the side where there are ear pockets, and it's going to track and trace specific parameters within the helmet in order to pre-crash inform the end user about his helmet safety, whether it's too large, whether it's too noisy, how old it is, all related to 6 elements that make a helmet safe for its end user. And in case of a crash, it actually directly connects to the so-called PSAPs, the 911 call centers, and set up a unique data transmission as well, also transmitting information about the crash, the impact, where it was on the head, and where actually the victim is, because that's very important as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've had many friends who've gotten into their own motorcycle crashes, and a couple of them didn't survive, and a couple of them got lucky. Because like a deer hit or something like that, there's nobody around to call in on something like that. So this is something that saves. What's interesting is you said that it's in the ear canal. Wouldn't that cause a little bit of a wouldn't it not even out having something on one side but not the other?
You mean, what do you mean regarding weight or feeling, or?
Well, I'm assuming it's not going to be that. How heavy is this this device?
We aim for it to be as light as possible, of course.
Yeah.
But as far as we can see now, it will be below 35 grams. So it's very light. So it's not something that you really will notice when you use it.
Okay. And wouldn't don't a lot of helmets have some sort of in-ear system that would block?
It won't block. As I've become a helm specialist over the last 25 years, also remodeling insides of helmets as well. I know that there's always space to put in something that's really small. Like the dimensions are 4 by maximum of 1 centimeter, and there's space in a helmet. And if it's not there, it can be made quite easily just by pushing away a part of the styrofoam.
Okay. So what about those people that wear skull cap helmets? Anything that doesn't go over the ears?
Yeah, the one thing that we advocate is that people need to wear safe helmets. And the so-called skull caps, let's say the half helmets, we don't see them as a safe helmet.
Okay.
So it doesn't work with them.
All right. So you're not gearing it towards those people. You're gearing it towards the people that have pretty much the full helmets on there. Is there any other use with this besides motorcycle helmets, like hockey players or anything like that?
We're talking to a couple of, because we're going to, if possible, we're going to offer it in two different types of product. First of all, as you saw it, this will be an aftermarket product to be sold on a B2C approach.
Okay.
But we're also talking to helmet manufacturers, including some tactical helmet manufacturers, in order to have it embedded. That also means that if there would be a manufacturer that actually is able to create a safe skull cap size shape helmet, we can integrate it in that as well. So, yeah. That's what we're doing. So probably also for ski helmets, we're talking to a ski helmet manufacturer as we speak for specific cycle helmets. So the list goes on. But as most misery comes within the landscape of PTW, of powered 2- and 3-wheel drivers, this is where our focus is. I mean, like I said, 400,000 killed and 250 billion euros in costs annually. So it needs to be solved.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk for a minute about how it communicates back and forth. I'm assuming that you'll be able to do something through an app of some sort, but more to the point, if somebody gets in an accident, how does it relay that information to an EMT? Or do we have a cellular service attached to it or what?
We're going to use multiple channels. So during normal use, pre-crash, it will use Bluetooth connectivity with a smartphone in order to see and track the data. In case of an accident, it will connect to networks available autonomously because there is GSM and probably in a bit more expensive version, also SATCOM integrated in the machine, because it can't be the case that if you crash and, for example, your phone crashes with you, you're going to die anyway. So we want to avoid that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we talking 5G type situation or 4G or anything like that?
The cool thing about, or the bad thing actually, about the whole backbone that we want to tap into, like I said, we want to directly connect to emergency call centers, like the 911s and the 112s. And for European standards, it's mandatory that it also covers, believe it or not, 2G. So it's the basic. And next to that, when it comes to radiation, we're going to use antennas outside of the helmet, which are stuck under a QR code type of reflecting sticker, in order to also avoid any, how do you call it, brain
tumors.
frying due to
tumors,
radiation. Yeah, so
it's not a tumor.
Yeah, so we're going to cover the whole spectrum, but we're going to start already with 2G, believe it or not.
And of course, I suppose newer bikes nowadays have in-system technology that you'll also be able to connect to. So if it does get in an accident, that can aid in getting emergency services out to where it needs to go.
Yes. There are manufacturers like, for example, BMW and also Bosch, who created solutions that are integrated in bikes. The only thing is that, for example, if you don't like BMWs or you don't have money for a BMW, you won't get rescued. And that's one of the reasons why we do this. Another reason is, and that's something that the friends of Bosch and BMW overlooked a bit, maybe, is the fact that the crash dynamics with a car crash are not comparable to the ones with a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And that means that they are going to find your bike with their solution, but they're not 100% guaranteed to find you, because there will be a distance between you and the bike varying from a couple of meters to maybe even 100 to 150 yards. Mm. And if that's somewhere in the bush, and with head injuries, there's the so-called golden hour, they might find you too late. And that's what we want to avoid as well. And that's why we do it in the helmet and not on the bike.
Yeah. Or even if you're next to a body of water and it's shallow water, you could drown within a few minutes.
Yes.
So that totally makes sense. So, all right. So this is not something that you would buy for that. You'd actually buy the helmet. You wouldn't buy the device. And that's where you're going, is working with the helmet manufacturers to get this device in that. Correct?
Yes. Actually, what we do with this, what we want to do with this is that that's our goal. We want to make every helm the safest helm possible for its user, independent from brand, from type. Okay, skull caps are difficult, and size. So this is our expertise, and then we're going to combine with the expertise of the helmet manufacturers.
Okay, will there be an aftermarket? So if somebody's got to have their helmet because their dad wore the helmet, or it's an Evil Knievel type helmet or something like that, that they could fit it in there?
Yes, and again, we want to avoid support helmets that are not safe for the end user. So
that's not your focus. Yeah. Okay.
No. One of the things that we're actually going to educate the end user about is, for example, there's one element that makes a helmet unsafe for its user, and that has to do with age. Any helmet older than 7 years from production date is actually gone. Okay. So we're not going to advise real Evil Knievel stuff. And it's too much and too high in value anyway, so I would leave it in the cupboard. Just buy a normal helmet.
Yeah, absolutely. I know if I had an Evil Knievel helmet, it'd be sitting right there, not on my head going 60 miles per hour down the road or anything like that. All right, so there's no price points or anything like that we need to talk about, because you're looking for manufacturers at this point, or are you working on some sort of aftermarket? And if so, what would be a price point on that?
Yeah, we want to make it as cheap as possible. That needs to be said, because there are people, for example, in Vietnam and also in Indonesia, and there a lot of people drive two-wheel powered vehicles that need to be enabled to buy this as well. So we aim for as much as possible under $100, even as much as possible under $50, one-off buy. And then we need to have a couple of euros over a period of time in a subscription fee in order to maintain the services and also the data coverage behind it.
Okay. All right. So when would we start seeing? Are we seeing helmets with this technology in? When do we start seeing that? Right now.
But this is a unique one. Our focus is to be in shops by the end of this year. And if depending on who is going to support us, because that's something that we're looking for as well. Like I said, helmet manufacturers, but also fairly early stage investors who think that saving lives is a valuable goal and something that they want to aid to. We could make it faster. I mean, the fastest what we can do is 6 months from now.
Okay. So in about 6 months, we could see that. Are you going to be making your own helmets as well?
No.
Or is that just going to be that's just a prototype model so people can understand what's going on?
This is a helmet that from a range of helmets that we bought in order to see what's possible and what's not possible. Also to measure, for example, we want to measure vibrations when people use helmets in order to see whether it's still fitting correctly or not.
Got it.
And so that's why we use a range of helmets anyway.
Okay. So once again, the name of the company is
Castodian.
Castodian.
Yeah.
And pretty interesting there. So, Bart, thank you very much for your time. Learned a little bit about helmet safety, and that's very important. So thank you very much.
Jeffrey, thank you, and have a good CES.
Thanks a lot for watching this video for the CES Virtual by Geekazine. If you're over on geekazine.com or youtube.com/Geekazine, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, you guys geek out and take care.